Welcome to Sports and Rants, the hottest sports radio show in America.
Sports. Rants. Breast. Pants. Sports. Rants. Breast. Pants.
Welcoming your hosts, Brett and Pants.
And we're live with Wayne Gomes. How you doing today, Wayne?
I'm doing great, man. How are you? Thanks for having me. Sorry I'm late.
It's all right. It's all right.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
No problem.
We appreciate your time. So, what kind of camp were you just running?
It's spring break here for our local school system, and I have a group of kids here that wanted to learn baseball for the week throughout the camp. So, worked out good.
What type of was it? Pitching, hitting?
All skills, man. They're young. You know, some kids 8, 9 years old, and up until 13, and they just learn all skills of the game.
Now, is that something that you wanted to get into when you were playing baseball? Is that something you saw yourself doing in the future?
Yeah, I mean, I do that all. I mean, I own Virginia Baseball Academy in Hampton, Virginia, and that's what I do all year round. I have my own training facility with 6 batting cages, pitching machines, pitching mounds. I have a baseball field behind the facility with lights, and yeah, when I was playing, I can kind of see the end coming, and what I was doing is kind of set myself up. And as soon as I finished playing, I retired and started Virginia Baseball Academy.
Pretty neat. That's pretty neat. So, have you been following the Phillies season so far this year?
I can't say I have. I follow a little bit of the drama with Jimmy and Ryan, but other than that, no, I can't. I couldn't tell you how they're doing, unfortunately.
Do you have a favorite team in baseball in the majors?
Well, I just kind of follow teams a little bit that when I do get a chance to watch a game, the teams that I play for, because the front office people have always been very gracious to me. Phillies and Giants and the Red Sox. Yeah, if I watch a game and have a team to support, it'd definitely be the Phillies.
All right, so now we're going to go into a little bit about your college career and how you got into the major leagues. How did you make your decision to go to Old Dominion University and play there?
Well, they kind of made it for me, to be honest with you. I didn't have too many choices out of high school. I was going to go to the Newport News Apprentice School to become an electrician, and they had a baseball team, which they still do, and they were pretty good. I'm just like Division III ball, and I was going to go there and learn a trade and earn a living and kind of start my next phase of my life. And I was the only reason I had not started because I was 17 years old, and to start the program you have to be 18. So from there, I kind of, I was just waiting to turn 18, and I was playing American Legion, and a coach from Old Dominion saw me, and he gave me a scholarship like the next morning. And I went there. Or first I told him no, and because I didn't think I could cut it, and things kind of just fell in place, man.
Now, do you feel that happens a lot, especially with young baseball players, that they're missed or scouts don't see them, coaches don't see them?
You know what? I would say less now than before. Because there's so many avenues now, so many showcases, and so many scouts out there. It's hard to miss somebody now. But, it can happen. There could be some kids from small towns or bad programs. And another thing is, a lot of these parents can afford to be on these $1,000 showcase teams and be at every showcase event. And that's where the scouts are, to be honest with you. And if you can't afford it and you don't have anybody kind of sponsoring you and making sure that you're in the right place to be seen, it's possible you can be missed. Hopefully it doesn't happen. Hopefully the kids who have some ability can get the opportunity for somebody to see them and give them a chance to, get their foot in the door either professionally or collegially. But it can happen, but I would say it probably happens less now.
Now, in your opinion, do you think it's better for a player to go out of high school to, say, the minor leagues, or do you think it's important to get that college playing experience?
Well, I think it's an individual basis. Some players don't need the money out of high school, and they'd rather go there and get their education and do it the traditional way. However, some people have families that have to support. They have a ability to do it right out of high school. Why not? I think it's a different situation. Some people, they might need to mature a little bit before they leave the house and and go start working, because it's work. I mean, 9 to 5. So I think each situation is unique. So if a kid is projected as a 30th round draft pick, and he's got a 85% scholarship, to go to play college baseball at a good program, it might be a better fit if he goes to college. Now, if a kid is getting first round money out of high school, hey, I mean that's kind of tough to turn down. I'm not sure. I mean, there's a kid locally that just turned it down here. He had first round money on the table, and he decided to go to UVA. So which is I mean, in the way he's doing at UVA right now, it's a good chance he'll get that same amount of money, if not more, in 2 more years. So you just have to assess each set of circumstances a little bit differently.
You mentioned how Old Dominion University made the decision for you.
Mm-hmm.
In what way did they do that for you?
Well, that's the only choice I had.
Okay.
I didn't have a whole bunch of. I wasn't that quite the blue chip recruit where everybody was after. And professional baseball wasn't really an option either, because I didn't get drafted. So, it was either the Newport News Apprentice School to be an electrician or go to Old Dominion. So, I chose obviously to go to Old Dominion.
You mentioned how you weren't really that blue chip prospect coming into college. What made you that prospect in order to be drafted 4th overall pick in the MLB? How did Old Dominion help you grow?
Coaching and showing me a work ethic. That's it. Coaching, it was in there. I just didn't know how to get it out, and what it took to get that ability out of me. And when I got there, I got in front of some coaches that really knew how to push me. You think you're pushing yourself, but you're not really pushing yourself until somebody else does it. They just pushed it out of me. They showed me some things that can make me better, and I was a pretty good student as far as learning the game, and they kind of took it and ran with it. Well, I took it and ran with it.
Now, was there any particular coach at Old Dominion that helped you the most, helped you improve your pitching, and got the most out of you?
I still have a great relationship with him. Pat McMahon, he's now the head of Latin Affairs with the Yankees right now. He went on to coach Mississippi State after he left Old Dominion. Went on to coach University of Florida, and now he's with the Yankees. He's a big shot over there. And Jim Farr, he was the pitching coach at Old Dominion when I was there, and we talked frequently. Actually, I saw him a couple of days ago at a scout. He's now scouting with the Royals, and he's just. They know the game, man. They know the game. They know how to push you, and I didn't mind being pushed. It's one thing to push a kid. Some of the kids resist, but when you have a kid that wants to be pushed and wants to get better, and somebody really has the time invested into it and really wants you to get better, I mean, it's kind of the sky's the limit. That's kind of what happened for me.
Yeah, we see a lot with kids, especially going into college, these guys that could play professionally. Some take criticism well, some don't. Mm-hmm. Is there anything in particular that made you be able to take the criticism and be able to improve your game?
It's just how I was wired, man. It really is just how I was wired. My parents, it was tough love, and if you messed up, they let you know about it, and you did well, they let you know, and they always taught me to respect my coaches and listen, and that's what I did. I mean, I respected my coaches and listened, and as I kind of went further, I don't know who told me this, but he said, listen to your coaches, and pick out what works for you. If you have a coach that tells you 100 things, and 90% of them don't apply to you, well, it could be 10 things that really do apply to you. So take those and run with them. Really apply those, and then you'll have your coaches that everything he says, just seems to work well. Well, take everything he says and run with it. It just seems like both my coaches, they just had whatever they said to me just really resonated, and it just instilled a work ethic with me that you can be better than everybody else. It's just whoever puts the most amount of work into it.
Now, at any point during your college career, did you actually believe you had the opportunity to become a major leaguer? Did that ever occur to you while you were pitching?
Let me tell you one thing. I think the reason why I did become a major leaguer is because I never put too much emphasis on it. That wasn't my goal. I didn't set out to go out there and pitch in the major leagues. I just set out there to go out there and do well, and help my team win. And I know the money's out there, and I understand these players' desires to want to have financial security, but sometimes I think they get kind of lost in the sight of you know, what the goal is here. The goal is out here to go out there and play a fun game and win. You know, and I think the goal kind of might get shifted sometimes to, hey, let's get drafted high. You know, I coach a college team called the Peninsula Pilots in the Coastal Plain League, and these are all kids who are freshmen, sophomores, and juniors at big-time programs. And I just listen to their conversation. It's just draft. It's not win, or do well, or hone my craft. And I just don't remember that. I don't remember that approach when I played. I just remember, hey, let's go out here and win this tournament. I mean, let's go out there and win this weekend, and let's go out there and how good can you be? And when it was all said and done, you know, if you had that approach, lucky enough you got drafted, or lucky enough, you know, you did become a first round pick. And sometimes I just think that might get lost in today's, you know, collegiate player.
You were drafted with the 4th overall pick in the MLB, like we mentioned before, for the Phillies in 1993. Did you expect to go that high?
Yeah, you know, it was a buzz going around me a little bit. Yes, I would have to say I did. You know, after you find a representative, you know, he talks to you and he kind of relays to you what the scouts are saying. Yeah, I did. You know, but however, it never changed my approach. It just never changed. I just never paid too much attention to it. You know, I wasn't accepting phone calls from any scouts or advisors. I had one guy I had kind of determined ahead of the season. I just kind of stopped every other phone call. I didn't allow any distractions. Because I know if I did, you kind of lose focus, you know. And I think I did a real good job of that, trying to remember back that far.
Did you remember anything, or do you remember now anything about how the Phillies may have contacted you before the draft, and did you know that they were interested in you?
Yeah, I knew they had an interest. Yeah, I knew they had an interest. But it was several other teams that had an interest as well. You know, they just happened to have the 4th pick. But yeah, I knew they had an interest, and that was a good thing, them being that high.
On draft day, what was that experience like? Did you have a party with your family, or did you just pick up the phone and was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm going to the Phillies now?
Oh, I had family and friends around. I had my mother and father and you know, some couple close friends, and you know, it was simple. It wasn't like you see on TV with in like the NFL draft or
right.
I'll have 40 people there. No, that's a little bit too much for me. But I kept it simple with, you know, people who were closest to me, you know, throughout my whole life, and you know, they were there, and that was just a select few, and went from there.
Now, in 1993, when you were drafted, the Phillies would go on to the World Series. Now, as a young guy going into the minor league system, did you expect big things from the Phillies in their upcoming years?
I did, but I was so far removed from being a big league player. My focus was, hey, where Robbie playing? You know, I'm not sure if I thought I was ever on that level at that point in time, which I wasn't. Maybe I did think I was, but once I got to spring training, they quickly let me know. You know, you're not part of us until you pay your dues. It's not like it is now, man. A lot of these guys are pitching in the College World Series and they're pitching in the big leagues, and 2 months later. When I was playing, it was hey man, pay your dues, come up through the ranks, you know, put a couple of years in the minor leagues, and then we'll talk. You know, it's definitely changed now. Now,
did you watch the Phillies beforehand? Were you a fan of the Phillies, or did you have a different favorite team growing up?
Yeah, I was a Mets fan. I always grew up a Mets fan, and that was my team. So,
were you disappointed to be going to the rival Phillies?
No, I was never disappointed with the Phillies at any time.
All right, so what was your minor league experience like with the Phillies? Some players have a great minor league experience, some loved it. What was yours like?
I'm sorry, say again?
What was your minor league experience like? Did you enjoy the long bus rides?
Minor leagues was fun to me. You know, the pay wasn't very well, you know, but I had some, looking back on it, was some good times in the minor leagues. You know, those bus rides, you build some kind of chemistry with your players, and you know, you put your dues in. It's just like, you know, it's like anything else. You know, once you've reached kind of the top, you know, you kind of look back on the way coming up and the struggles you went through to get.
Now, there's a lot of people say there's a difference between being the setup man in the game and the closer. you've experienced doing both in your career, as well as pitching some relief as well. What would you say is the difference between those three spots as a pitcher?
Well, like we spoke about before, in that closer role, there's nobody behind you. Either you win it or you lose it. 9 times out of 10, it's either you win it or lose it. And some people aren't comfortable with that. Setup man's just a little bit different. Sometimes that role of setup man on some games can be even tougher. Depends on how the lineup sits and depends on the situation you brought into. And sometimes closer, man, you could come in there with a 3-run lead when facing the 7, 8, 9. It just all depends on how everything's set up for you, and you really can't prepare for that, until you can kind of watch the lineup flip over around the 6th or 7th inning. Kind of guess who you might face. So both of those jobs are tough. But it's nothing like being the very end, the last line of defense for when the ball game is, because the toughest outs of the ball game are the last 3.
During your career, is there one save that sticks out to you as like the biggest save of your whole career, or that meant a lot to the Philly season or any team season?
I'd probably say my first one. So that was kind of. That was kind of a good feeling because, you kind of worked so hard to get there. You were supposed to be the savior of Philly from pitching at the back end of the bullpen, and then it finally happened. So, yeah.
And to go back a little bit to the closer's mindset, every once in a while a closer would come out and they would struggle a little bit with a little bit in a row. Is there any time that happened for you, and how did you get out of it? How did you stop your struggles?
How you stop your struggles?
Yeah.
Once you get past the mental hurdle, I mean that definitely can shorten it, in a hurry, because you just have to understand it's a short time. You're going through a rough stretch. No pitcher is ever gonna go through a season where everything's gonna be, all hunky dory, for lack of a better term. The best of the best go through it, and once you realize that, I mean, that shortens it up a little bit. If you just start going, "Woe is me," well, it's no time to complain. There's a game the next day. So that stops it. And just staying consistent. Staying consistent, never too high, never too low. It's not the end of the world. You're not as good as you think you are. You're not as bad as you think you are. And stay out the newspapers. Stop reading what they think about you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I used to read the USA Today every day just because why would I read the local paper? They're not consistent. When you do well, they're going to write something good. When you do bad, they're going to write something bad. You can do well and they can find something bad. Negativity sells. If you read that, you can kind of fall into the trap. So.
Now, in 2001, you'd be traded from the Phillies to the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? And were you sad to leave Philadelphia?
Yeah, I was sad. It was sad because both my kids were there. I had to leave my family back. We had to go to the West Coast, and I had some good friends on the team. So it was a different start, but it was time. It was just time. They were going a different direction. They had some good arms in the bullpen. They were in a playoff hunt. The manager and I were, okay at best. So it is what it is.
Now, when you went to San Francisco, you got to be on a team with the likes of players like Barry Bonds. Mm-hmm. Did he say anything to you? What was he like in the clubhouse, in the locker room?
Barry was cool to me. He's not for everybody, he's not for everybody, but he was cool to me, and we talked, and one-on-one, Barry was cool. You get him in a group, things might change a little bit, but talking to him one-on-one, he's pretty personable. A little bit of an ego, but maybe the best player to ever play the game. So I'll give him a pass.
And you went to a different type of manager in San Fran with Dusty Baker. Did he influence you at all?
Yeah, Dusty was cool. Dusty, I would have to say, is one of the 3 guys I've ever played for or been around that would just tell you the truth. Sometimes guys, these teams will tell you what you want to hear. Sometimes they'll tell you variations of the truth. And Dusty knows the question you're asking, and Dusty's going to tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. And I really respected that, and I'm sure he has a ton of players that, he has to be one of the most respected managers that ever do it. I have a lot of respect for him. And
the next season you would leave San Fran and you would go to Boston. Mm-hmm. How was that like? And with Boston having such a cultured history, such a history with the Red Sox, great players that played there, was there a different culture going into it rather than when you played for the Phillies or Giants?
It was a lot of stars in that team, man. You know, and I liked it because, I mean, by the time the media gets to you, they're exhausted. So it was, you know, it was I didn't have to answer too many questions with Pedro and Manny on the team, and Veritek and Nomar, and so many good players. You know, I didn't have to. They would never come to my way.
Now, before we wrap things up here, is there any players you still are in contact with? Any guys you're good friends with still?
I still talk to Jimmy Rollins, and actually came to see me about a year ago. Stayed at the house and did something at my facility. So, good guy, man. Wish him the best.
Now, before we let you go, is there anything you'd like to say to the Philadelphia fans, to the Phillies fans, to give them a bright spot for this season, or anything you'd like to say to them?
No, man. The fans were fair. For the most part, they were very good to me. There was some incidents, obviously, but when they were upset if I didn't do well or so forth, But I'm not going to dwell on that, man. I'm going to dwell on the positive. I enjoy my time in the city and in the community. Both my children were born there. I still have some friends still live in the area, and looking back on it, I wouldn't have wanted to have it any other way. It was awesome. Team's still good to me. The city still has some profound moments in my heart, my mind, and I'll leave it at that.
All right, Wayne, thank you for coming on with us. We appreciate your time, and with some great stories you told us.
All right, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
This concludes our podcast of Sports and Rants with Brent and Pants. Thank you for listening. Please follow us on Twitter at Sports and Rants. Like us on Facebook. Remember to subscribe to us on iTunes. And visit our website, www.sportsandrantz.blogspot.com. It would help our rankings on iTunes if you rate and review our podcast. Thanks, and have a good day.